Have you ever wondered how to make your home a smart home? Or maybe you were just wondering kind of what the term smart home really means. I think maybe this video can help. Well, it's a new year and my sister and her girlfriend just bought their first house, obviously already crushing #2019. Now the house though is a fixer-upper in the town of Poughkeepsie, which is about 2 hours north of New York City along the Hudson River. So I figured while they're fixing the baseboards and taking care of the mouse problem, I would come in here and make the house smart. And then I could take this opportunity to show you guys exactly what makes a house smart and how you can make a home a smart home. Okay, so first things first, what is a smart home? Now, the definition of a smart home, technically, is having home appliances and lighting and heating, etc. that can all be controlled by an app or a phone or a voice assistant or any other type of trigger. Now, to make your home smart, there's a few things you need. So it's probably a given, but we need internet access and Wi-Fi, which chances are pretty good that if you're watching this video, you already have those. Next, you don't necessarily need it, but it opens up a lot more possibilities, and that's having a smart hub of some sort. Now, this hub allows for you to use things that don't connect to Wi-Fi necessarily, and instead use a different set of standards to communicate with the other tech in your place. Standards like Zigbee and Z-Wave, for example. Now, we don't need to get into what all of those are right now, but they're essentially radio standards that use very little energy, so they're generally used instead of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi for smaller things like light bulbs, some appliances, and a ton of different sensor types, which we'll get to more in a sec. So probably the most popular smart hub and ecosystem of smart devices that work with that hub is called SmartThings. SmartThings is a company that actually has been bought not too long ago by Samsung, and because of that has since been expanded to a huge ecosystem of their products, from door sensors to outlets to security systems to even washing machines, fridges, etc. Personally, the popularity helps in the sheer number of different products that they have that all just work well, not just with each other, but with a lot of other services and devices. But there's also the fact that the UI is great, it's super intuitive, etc. Now, I recently did a video on mesh Wi-Fi and showed my favorite mesh Wi-Fi hub there, which happens to be the SmartThings Wi-Fi. But now you can click the link below to check out that video for more info on what mesh Wi-Fi actually is. But the reason I'm going to use it here is because they have a 3-story place and it'll easily cover all of that in signal. But it also has a SmartThings hub built in, which saves us from having to get that hub separately. Now you can either use the SmartThings Wi-Fi that I'm using here, or use your existing Wi-Fi and just get a SmartThings hub that just plugs into the router via Ethernet, and you're good to go. And by the way, links to everything that I use in this video will be below if you're curious. So now that we have Wi-Fi and an IoT hub, in this case the SmartThings hub, we can get to the more fun stuff. Let's start with sensors. So again, SmartThings has a ton of sensors, and while you can trigger actions without them using Alexa, for example, which we'll get to more in a sec, it's the sensors that allow you to really automate things in your house. So I got my sister and her girlfriend a bunch of multi-purpose sensors, which can be used for things like doors and windows to determine when they are open and shut, for example. We have a water leak sensor that can detect moisture that I'm gonna put in their basement next to their water heater, so if there's ever a leak, it'll detect it and let them know. We have this tracker that uses GPS and LTE to tell you where it is at all times. So I'm gonna put it on the dog, Winston. This way we can keep track of him while they're doing renovations and I'm setting these things up, and have it notify us if he leaves a designated area, say the house, for example. And again, there are a ton more sensors that you can choose from, and you can get really creative as to what you use them for. So once we have those set up, we can set them up in the app. SmartThings usually just detects new devices within range automatically, but you can also search for them. And once that's set up, which you just follow the on-screen process from the app, we can create sequences for them. So for example, if the door opens, do something. If water is detected in the basement, do something else, etc. But what do we want them to do? Well, at the moment, just with this simple setup that we've just made, we can have the water leak sensor tell us whenever there is a leak. We can have the door sensor tell us whenever the door is open. But if we add a few more things, we can get it to do some more interesting stuff. Now, in addition to these sensors that we can use to automatically trigger things, probably the most popular way to trigger things right now is using a voice assistant. The two most popular are easily Google Home and Amazon Alexa. Now, you can get either of the main assistants, Google Home and Amazon Alexa, in a crazy amount of different forms now. From these small pucks that both of them offer, called the Google Home Mini for Google Assistant, or the Amazon Echo Dot for Amazon Alexa, and they're only about $30. And from there, we can get to more advanced versions, like the Google Home Hub, which has a screen and more powerful speakers, or the Amazon Echo Show for a similar concept, as well as this thing that I think is kind of a great middle ground, the Amazon Echo Spot. Now this can use the screen as a clock when it's not in use, but then we can use the screen to show the weather and the cameras around the house, etc. The voice assistant is great in that you can talk to them to trigger things on the device themselves. For example, hey Google, play music.
Playing some music on Google Play Music.
But you can also have them triggered to do things based on those sensors. So for example, when the door opens, play the Imperial March song. So now for the most part, we've been talking about things that can trigger other actions. But let's get some things in here that those triggers can then control. First up, the thing I think most people go for originally when they're setting up a smart home is lights. Now Philips Hue is probably the most popular brand for smart bulbs out, so I'll use those for this. But there are other brands as well. Basically though, they require their own hub, which you can get with a starter kit that comes with a couple of bulbs as well. You plug this in via Ethernet to your router, open the Philips Hue app on your phone, and follow the quick steps to set it up, just like we did with the SmartThings Wi-Fi and basically every other device that we're going to be using. Now after that, you'll put the lights around your house, replacing the other bulbs you normally have, and then we can go back to the Philips Hue app and group them into rooms. So say all the lights in the living room, we can put in a group called Living Room. And these groups all work with SmartThings, Alexa, Google, etc. And so once that's done, you can now tell Alexa to, hey Alexa, turn off the living room lights, or set up a procedure in the SmartThings app that when the door opens, turn on the lights, etc. Now next, I'm gonna set them up with a Ring doorbell. This doorbell connects to the normal wiring that the original doorbell connected to, and it has super easy instructions. I promise it's not as hard as it sounds. And once installed, now we have a trigger, people ringing the doorbell, movement being detected by the camera, etc.
Someone is at the front door.
But also, we can say, ask Alexa on the Echo Dot, because it has a screen on it, or even the Alexa app on our phone, to show us the front door, and it'll bring up that camera feed. Okay, so now let's add some smart outlets. This is a quick way to control other things in the house that we can say leave on, and then use the outlet to turn on and off. So another thing I want to add to their new home is something I think is actually super valuable right off the bat, and that's a smart thermostat. Now using this Nest thermostat, which just goes and connects to the existing wiring for the current thermostat like the doorbell did for the doorbell, and again, it's not as hard as it sounds, we can now not only control the temperature by telling Google or Alexa to set it to 75 degrees, etc., but you can also have it use your phone to determine your location if you want, and when you leave, automatically set the temperature to one that uses less power, which will end up in the end saving you money. By the way, we also have a SmartThings button. This can be put anywhere and you can push it to turn on the lights, double tap it to turn them back off again, or you can control anything else in the house for that matter that maybe you still want some sort of tactile thing to trigger. And now this is just a few examples of how you can make your home a smart home. There are a lot of other things, and you're only kind of limited by your imagination because you can set up all these different routines to do things so long as you have the sensors giving you input and the devices that can be controlled by that input. That's kind of the gist of the entire thing. There's also programs like Zapier and If This Then That, and I'll leave some links below if you guys want to go check those out, but those can even further the functionality to tie into things like Facebook or Google Drive or Google Photos, and then also the things in your house, or have like the lights change to your favorite football team's colors when that football team starts to play. It gets crazy. It's just, I'm excited. I think it's cool. I hope you guys think it's cool as well. Thanks to my sister and her girlfriend for letting me smartify their house. And I just hope that this was useful for somebody out there and it gave you a little bit of understanding of what a smart home is, how it kind of works, and put the pieces together. Let me know in the comments below though. I'd love to hear from you guys, as I always do. As always though, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please thumbs up it or share it if you did. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ding the bell next to where subscribe so you get notified when I do new videos. Also, check out me on social media at The Unlocker with an E missing in the word unlocker on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the things really. To check out more tech that I'm up to behind the scenes of some videos and travels, etc. if that's something you're into. As always though, regardless, thanks for watching.